So first we'll start out with our first program. Okay, I'll go with your first program, lab first program. Just I'll open it. Okay, so already I have that particular first program. Okay, lab one. Where is that? Okay, so as we know that this is your lab first program. So in your lab first program, there are two parts that we need to execute. So one part is nothing but you have to accept input from the user. So what is that you need to accept from the user is nothing but n number of names you need to accept from the user, and you need to reverse those particular names. Okay, coming to the second part of the program. Okay, you will be having an input file, and in the input file you should have some names already present. Okay, so what is the this one care you need to take is you should have an input file already. The input file should be existing, and you should have a set of names in existing in that particular file. And whenever you give that particular input file as a input to your program, so your program should reverse each and every name. It should read each and every name from the input file, reverse it, write the reverse name onto the output file. So this process has to happen for all the names that are part of your input file. So finally, after execution of your second option in your first program, so how many ever names are there in the input file, so all the names should be in a reversed order, and those reverse names should be as part of your output file. Okay. So the first one is with respect to reading the data from the standard input device, reversing and writing into the standard output device, that's the monitor. And second option in your first program is you need to read the data from the file, reverse them, and write the reverse data back to the file. So first one with related to standard input output device. Second option is related to the reading the data from the file and writing the output back to the file. So now with that particular assumption, already we know that since we are dealing with your input output files, we have this particular statement, import package. And this particular util package, since we are using your scanner class to accept the input from the user, we have imported this. And this is our main program, what we have written. So inside a main program, we have created an object for the class, right? Since we are supposed to implement two options in our program. First one is accepting the data from the input device and writing to the input device. Second option is nothing but we are going to accept the data from the file, reverse the data, and reverse data should be returned back to the file. Okay, since these are the two options, we have written a many driven program. Okay, basically to get these particular two options, and we have used a switch case in order to switch between these particular two options based upon the requirements of the user. And case 4 is nothing but a suppose if a user enters the invalid option. I think hope all these things is particular things is clear. Now coming to the important thing in your program is nothing but how do we accept the input from the standard input device is nothing but first we should ask the user to enter the number of names to be reversed. You're going to read those number of names now. So your whatever the name the user is going to enter, you are supposed to reverse that particular name and print it out on the screen. So to reverse each name, you're going to read each name. So to reverse that particular name, you're going to call a function called as string reverse underscore string. So what does this does? So reverse underscore string is a function that accepts whatever the name you're going to pass, which is of type string. And by making use of an inbuilt Java class called a string builder, okay, we are going to reverse the string. Why? Because the string builder class, which is available in Java as a predefined function called as reverse in order to reverse the names. Okay, so that's the reason we are making use of this particular inbuilt class available in Java in order to reverse the string. So whatever the string that is being reversed, just we are going to return back to the calling function. Okay, calling function, and it will be stored in REV. So whatever the name that is being reversed, we are going to store it here. Basically, we are going to print that reverse name onto the screen. So now one name already I have done. Suppose second name n is equal to, suppose n if you have entered 2. So for the second time n will be 1. So that is the reason we are performing n is equal to n minus 1. And you're going to check if n is not equal to 0. So this process, this part of the code gets executed, okay, until all the names you have been reversed. Okay. So this is the logic how basically you can accept the n number of names, accept each name and reverse that name, print it onto the screen. Now coming to the second option, okay, second option is nothing but you need to read each name from the input file, reverse that, write that name to the output file. So this process should happen until the input file reaches end of file. So how do we do that? So first, we are going to ask the user to enter the input file name. As I told you that to execute this particular program, we should have an input file existing. Okay, we should have an input file that is existing, and it should have some names, into some data present in that particular file. So that file name you're supposed to enter here. Similarly, you are supposed to enter the output file name, okay, into which file you're supposed to write the data back. So output file name you're going to enter. Now these are some initialization we are going to make. Okay, so now I'm going to open the input file in the read only mode and the output file in the write only mode, that is print writer I'm going to use. Now, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to read each line of data from this particular file, that is in file. That is nothing but how do I refer to the in file? Using your BR, right? I'm going to read each line from the input file. Okay, I'm going to check if the data, whatever I've read, is not equal to null. If it is not equal to null, again, I'm going to call the same function, that is rev underscore string, where rev underscore string is it's making use of an inbuilt Java class, which will help us in reversing a string value. So the reversed value will be again sent back to the particular function here, and that reversed value we are going to write into your output file. So how we are referring to your output file? Using your PW. So the reverse name you're going to write back to the output file. So output file can be referred using PW. So you're going to write back that reverse name to the file. So again, you go on reading the second line. Go on reading the second line from the input file. Okay, you're going to call the rev underscore string. So you're going to reverse the string. So reverse string again will be written back to your output file. Similarly, you're going to read the next line from the input file. This process is going to continue until end of input file is being reached. Okay, so this is all about your code related to your the first program. Okay, so one is nothing but in one portion of the program, what you're doing is accepting the data from the standard input, you're reversing that particular data, printing onto the standard output. The second portion of the program discusses like you're supposed to read the data from your file, reverse that particular data and write the data back to your file. So now let us see how basically we can execute this particular program. Let us see the execution part. Okay, just clear this. Okay, Java C, say for example lab1 dot, say for example Java. Okay, Java, say lab1. Okay, I'm supposed to use capital L here, lab1. See here? So this is the menu that whatever we have written according to the program has been displayed. So the first one is, let us see the first option first, enter the number of names to be reversed. So for simplicity, I'm going to enter the number of names to be 2. You can enter more also. Now it's asking me enter the name to be reversed. For example, I tell ISC is the name. So it is telling that say reverse of the entered string is ESI. Enter the name to be reversed, second name, because since I've entered 2 here, number of names to be reversed is 2. First name I've entered, it has reversed. Now it's asking me to enter the second name. Say for example, I'll tell the second string has say BMSIT. Okay, see it has given a reverse of entered string is, it has reversed this particular string. And again it has come back to your the menu driven part, and it is asking again you have to go with which particular choice. So now I'll go with the choice 2. Say for example 2 is the choice, and I'm supposed to enter the file which is existing, and that file should have some data in it. So already I have created one particular file called as in.txt, where I have some text. In.txt is the file basically what I have. Okay, sorry, one second. I think I'm going to get an error, not in.txt. Okay, I'll get an error because that's not the file which I have. Okay, two I'm going to give. Okay, so now what I'm supposed to give, enter the input file name. I have a file name g1.txt is the input file name already I have. Okay, and the output where it has to be written is again g2.txt is the file what I have. See here, now it is telling that all reverse name return to g2.txt. Okay, so now how do we ensure that the data is being reversed and returned to g2.txt? So come out of this particular program, press T to come out, and you need to open which file? You need to open which file? Just I'm going to share you this particular part. Okay, so I'll just go back. Go back to this and I'll show you. For example, where is that? Here I have some say g1.txt. See, g1.txt is this, g1.txt is this, and okay, and I have g2.txt. So let me open this particular g2.txt. What is there? See, this is your g2.txt. All the names are being written in the reversed order into the output file g2.txt. g2.txt. Okay, so this is all about your first program. This is all about your first program. Hope all of you have understood this particular first program. So now let us move on to the second program. Okay, let us move on to the second program. Just I have already written that particular program. Just I'll open that. Okay, that is nothing but your lab 2. Okay, so lab 2. Okay, so this is your lab 2 program. So in case of a lab 2 program, they're asking you to work on a student objects. So for each student, they're asking us to create a set of attributes such as, say for example, student name, the student USN, and the SEM to which the student belongs, and the branch to which the student belongs. Now, we are considering these particular 4 attributes of a student. Okay, so whenever we are going to perform the various operations. Now, for that reason, we have written a Java program wherein they've asked us to implement a pack function, unpack function, your search function, and modify function. And coming to your pack function, what exactly your pack function you're supposed to do is, you're supposed to accept the data from the user. So what is the data you need to accept? You need to accept the student details from the user. At the time, we'll be accepting only one student details from the user. Okay, so after accepting one student detail from the user, you need to apply the appropriate record structure on that accepted data and pack that particular data according to the appropriate structure. That packed data should be written into the file. Okay, these are the 3 operations we're going to do with respect to pack function. Accept the data for one student at a time from the user, pack that data using the appropriate record structure, and third one is nothing but whatever the data you have packed using the appropriate record structure should be returned back to the file. These are the 3 operations that we need to perform inside pack. Coming to the second function which has been asked in your program is unpack function. So what exactly is the unpack function? It's a reverse of a pack function. That is, I need to basically fetch one student record at a time from the file. I need to fetch one record from the file, okay, existing file. I need to fetch a record from the file. After fetching a record, I need to, we know that the record is having 4 fields. So what should I do in the second step? I need to apply a split function to split the record into n number of attributes. Okay, second point is nothing but we need to split a record into n number of individual attributes. Third step is nothing but we need to display all those particular attributes to the user. So what are the three functions we need to do in unpack function? Fetch each record from the file at a time, apply a split function on that particular record which you have fetched. Third one is display those details of that particular record. So these are the three functions that should be done as part of your unpack function. Coming to your third function which they are asking is search function. What is search? Say I'm going to give a particular, usually in this particular student objects, whatever we have considered, or student attributes, what you have considered, like your name, USN, semester and branch. Among these particular attributes, so the attribute which I can consider as a key value is nothing but a USN. Why? Because using this particular USN, I can uniquely identify all other attributes. So that's the reason I'm going to take the USN as a key value. Now, whenever I'm going to perform the search operation, usually the search operation will be performed based on the key value. So now, user will be giving me some USN number that has to be searched on the database. So user will be giving some key value. What as a user I should do is I should accept that particular key value entered by the user. Now compare this particular key value with each and every record that is part of your file. Means first I need to fetch the first record from the file, apply a split function. So after applying a split function, I'll get the individual attributes. In that individual attributes, my interested field is nothing but a USN. So extract the USN field from that particular record and check whether that extracted USN is equal to the USN that is being entered by the user. So if it is yes, you can stop your search process there itself and display the relevant details to the user, telling that whatever the record you're searching is present as part of the file. If not, so you need to again fetch the second record from your file, again apply a split function on second record. So extract only the USN feed from the second record, check whether that extracted USN is equal to the USN entered by the user or not. So this process should be continued either until the match is found or end of the file is being reached. Okay, suppose say you are going on performing this particular match operation until the end of file is reached. Still, if you are not able to find the matching USN as per the requirement of the user, then you can display a message directly telling that the record which you are searching is not being found in the file. You can display an error message. Now, coming to your modify function, so much of the functionality what your search does, so almost half of the functionality modify also does. So whenever you are being asked to modify a record, okay, say for example, earlier whatever the data you have entered for a particular student, the details are the wrong details you would have entered. Maybe the spell mistakes in the name of the student, or while entering the semester of the student, you would have entered a wrong semester or a wrong branch, something. While entering the data for the first time, assume that you have made some mistakes. Okay, so now the student comes to you and tells that, ma'am, I want to correct that particular, my details I need to get corrected. So how do we do that? So now, in this particular case, we ask, say for example, what is the USN of the student, that is which is acting as a key value. Again, we perform a search operation similar to the previous function. If the record is found, then I am supposed to accept the correct details from the user, and that correct details should be overwritten as part of the file. The earlier, the wrong details, the record which was having the wrong details should not be there in the file. In fact, the correct details that's been entered by the user should be accepted and it should be stored as part of your file. Okay, so now, basically that's what here in this particular program you can see that since in our program they've asked us to implement, these are the 4 functions: pack, unpack, search, modify. So here this is again menu driven program we have written. Okay, menu driven program having many options like pack, unpack, search, modify, all those particular things. So this is how we implement the pack function. So first we ask the user to enter all these details. User is going to enter the details. We are going to accept those details using these statements. Now, once it has been done, we are going to open a file in the output mode. Okay, open on the file in the output. Why? Because before we try to write the data to the file should be open. Okay, so now whatever the data user has entered here, we are going to pack using the appropriate record structure, that the packed data. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is, if it is less than, why? Because we are doing this part of the program. If you come, why is that we are doing this? Because in case of your lab second program and lab third program, only there is a minor change that exists between lab 2 and lab 3. So lab 2 tells that you need to think of fixed length records, and lab 3 program tells you that you need to think of variable length records. Since a constraint is being put on your lab 2 telling that we need to deal with the fixed length records, here statically we are trying to fix the length of the record to be 50. Okay, so whatever the data you have accepted from the user and your packed, where is it present? It is present in a variable b, and b is of what type? It is of type string. Now I am going to check what is the length of the particular b. By applying a length function, it gives me how many characters are present as part of b. So where is it stored? It is stored in a length variable which is of type int. Right? Now I'm going to check if the length value is less than 50, then I should go on writing all those particular 50 characters, and after exceeding the 50 characters, basically I'm going to add this, say for example, hyphen in order to say fill the remaining gaps. After the, if suppose if the content whatever the user has entered, if it is less than 50 characters, so the remaining characters default, it will be filled with the default characters, that is hyphen. Okay, so now that record basically we are going to write it to the file. Okay, and we know that what is flush is used for, in order to make sure that all the complete stream, none of the bytes remains as part of the stream. All, each and every byte in the stream, that is in the pipe whatever is there, should be completely pushed to the file. Okay, nothing should remain in your pipes. So for that particular purpose, we are using this flush function, and finally we are going to close it. Similarly, you can go on accepting any number of records by calling this particular pack function. So first thing, accepting the data from the user, packing into the appropriate structure. Okay, check if the length of that particular pack data is less than 50. So append the remaining characters with the hyphen, default character, write the data to the file. Coming to your unpack function, so what I told you that first you should, in case of your unpack function, so you should read each record from your file. So for that we are using a buffer reader. Read each line from the file at a time, check if it is not equal to null, apply which function? Split function, to split a record into n number of attributes or fields. So where are those particular attributes present? So each and every attribute I'm going to extract into the appropriate say variables, and what I'm doing with those attributes, just displaying those particular attributes. That's what your unpack function is. Now coming to a search function, I told you that again we need to accept the USN from the user. So this is what we're asking the user to enter. We're accepting it. So now after accepting the USN from the user, you're going to extract the first record from the file, apply a split function, and store the splitted values into the appropriate variables, and check if the user entered USN. Where is the USN entered by the user is present? In USN1. So whatever the value that is present in USN1, if it is equal to the USN what you have extracted from the record which you have fetched from the file, okay, then it means that match found. You're going to display a message to the user telling that match is found, and these are the details of the record you're going to display to the user. Okay, if not, what you're going to do? Again, if the match is not found for the first time, you need to read the second record from the file. You need to read second record from the file, apply a split function on the second record, store the appropriate fields in the appropriate variables, and check if the user entered USN, if it is equal to the USN of whatever you have fetched from the second record. Yes or no? So now this process is being repeated. Suppose if you have reached end of the file, assume that you have reached end of the file, still you are not able to find the matching record in the file, then we are going to display a message as record not found. Correct. So now, so coming to your modify function, that's nothing but a fourth function. Here what we are supposed to do, I told you that much of the operations are similar to your search function. See, before you modify, the code till here is same. The code till here is similar to your search function here. Okay, so you're going to display the details. and you're going to ask the user to enter the new details. Once the match is found, you're going to ask the user to enter the new details. So new details will be entered. New details will be entered. You need to pack those particular new details using an appropriate record structure. And again, same, you're going to check if the length of the data entered is less than 50. We need to concatenate or append the remaining part of the record with the default character, that is hyphen we are using. Otherwise, okay, just simply you're going to write that particular record to the file. Okay, so this is what basically you're doing. Now you're going to close this particular flush. You're going to close your PW, your BR. This is a file you open for input purpose. This is a file you open for write purpose. Now the question is, why file.delete and temp.rename? Why these two lines are required? See, for example, the logic what I am trying to use while trying to modify is, assume that I have an original file, say for example student.txt. So I'm going to read each data from that particular student.txt. If matching record is not found, simply I'm writing the record as it is to the other file. Suppose if the matching record is found, I need to modify the details. Again, that modified details I'm also writing to the second file. So now I have, in this scenario, I have two files, the old file and the new file. So new file is the one where the updated data is present, and the old file is where the old data is there. Now I need to give an imagination to the user, telling that only one file is existing. But implementation wise, if you think, actually two files I am making use. But to the end user, I need to give a imagination telling that there is only one file with which I'm operating. So what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to delete this particular old file, and the new file I'm going to rename to the name similar to that of old file. So I'm trying to delete the existing file using file.delete, the current file I'm deleting, and the new file, whichever I have, say temp file is a new file. I'm just renaming that file to the old file name itself. So that is the intention of writing these particular two statements, and I'm giving a message to the user telling that file is modified. Okay, so this is the basic logic what we are going to use in order to perform the modification operation. Okay, so now let us again go back and see like how the output for this particular program will be. Okay, see here, for example, Java C, okay, lab2 dot Java. Okay, so no compilation errors. Let us run the Java, the lab2. Okay, so you got something like this, see, lab2. So what are the options? So let us see if some data is already there. Definitely it will be there because I was working with this. Okay, see, some data is already there. I've used the second option, unpack function. It is displaying which are the details that are available. So let us try to add one record for this to make sure it works. Enter the names. Say for example, Monisha is the name I'm entering. USN, say 1BY, so something 18IS00 something 4. Okay, so now what is the STEM it is asking? 5th semester, say branch, say for example ISC. So it is telling that yes, it's been added. Let us see whether it has added or not. How do you ensure whether it's added or not? Press 2 to see. See, whatever the data we have, whatever the data I have inserted, it has been inserted. And same thing for our reference, I'm trying to display this particular details. Now let us try to perform the search operation. Say for example 3, enter the USN. So I try to enter the USN of the first one. It is 1 capital B something by A. Okay, enter the USN. See, it is telling, it is displaying that match form, and the details of the records are so and so. Now suppose say I'm going to enter 3. I'm going to enter some USN which is not part of that. 1BY say 18IS009, which is not there. So it is telling that record not found. Now let us go back to the fourth function, that is your modified. I'll enter the option as 4. Okay, enter the USN. So let me see like which are the USNs already we had here. Something 1B, okay, 2 I'll give. Okay, 2, not 2. I'll give 1B by a 4. Okay, 1 BT I've given. Okay, 1 BT IS 18 IS 18 shift IS 004. Hope so that's the correct one I have entered. So that I want to change this. 1 BT 18 IS 1 BT. Okay, it's telling the details are, so the present details of that record is this one. It's asking me enter the new details of that particular student. So let the name be Monisha itself. I want to change the, say by mistake I've entered some USN number to be wrong. Now I'll correct it. 1BY. Okay, it's 1BY. Say 18 IS 6004. Okay. So now semester. Let me tell 6 or say something like this. Let us check whether it's modified or not. I'm going to display 2. Here, here, this details, whatever you can see here. The previous details was something like this here. 1 BT 18 IS 5 ISC. Now I've changed the details. See, the change details are being modified as part of your file. As part of your file, right? So now again to come out of this particular program, I can press option 5. Okay. So this is all about your second program, which is related to your fixed length records. Okay. Coming to your third program, to brief it out, your third program is also similar to your second program, but only with a minor change, telling that instead of your fixed length records, you're supposed to deal with a variable length records. So the part of the code that basically you need to modify is, okay, just I'm going to show you the part of the code, this part of the code, or while writing you have this part of the code. Where is that part of the code? This is a place where you need a slight modification in case of your program 3. Other than that, your program 2 and program 3 almost remains to be same. Okay. So also you got some idea like, okay, about your program 1, 2 and 3. Okay, and I've shown you the demonstration. Okay, still if you have some doubts, okay, definitely you can ask.